Hello. I can't reach anything. Calling the 7:15 public hearing to order. This is an ordinance concerning the site plan approval of affordable housing developments. We'll start with roll call. Mr. Davidoff.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Roll call. Mayor Cantor.
Here.
Councilor Harris.
Here.
Councilor Lazarus.
Here.
Councilor Lyons.
Here.
Councilor McGinnis.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Poen.
Here.
Councilor Walters.
Here.
Councilor Wang.
Here.
Councilor Winograd.
Present.
All present.
Thank you, Mr. Davidoff. We will begin with a presentation by Corporation Counsel Attorney Dodge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, before you is an ordinance concerning site plan approval of affordable housing developments, and just to provide a little bit of background why we are suggesting this change to the ordinance. Typically in Connecticut, site plan approval is granted by the Land Use Commission in each municipality, and in West Hartford, that is the town council. However, municipalities are allowed to delegate that authority to another municipal agency. And in West Hartford, we have delegated that authority to the town planner for site plans that conform with all of the standards of our zoning code. And that makes sense from an administrative perspective because typically if site plans meet height restrictions and it's an approved use in a zoning district, it's really a more bureaucratic and administrative type approval for that type of site plan. The issue comes where we have an 830G application, as we recently did in town. Under Connecticut jurisprudence, because 830G projects are not subject to the typical zoning standards, they are also allowed to apply for site plan approval, even if they don't conform to the zoning standards of the municipality. As the council is aware, there are very narrow grounds and there's a very high bar for the municipality to deny a site plan or a zoning application by an 830G applicant. And really the only basis for doing so is if health and safety concerns outweigh the town's need for affordable housing. So our concern, Madam Mayor, is that for 830G projects that do not conform to the zoning code, that type of policy decision, whether health and safety concerns with the application outweigh the affordable housing needs of the municipality, is really a policy decision that is better suited for the council rather than for the town planner in his administrative approval process. So what this would do is for an 830G application that applied for site plan approval, where the use was not permitted in the schedule of permitted main uses, or where there was an increase in density that exceeded that allowed in the zone, or where there was the establishment of new streets, the authority to grant that site plan approval would shift from the town planner to the town council. And so you, the town council, would now sit in judgment of that site plan application using the same standards that the town planner would currently use for an 830G project. Other than that, we're not imposing any additional requirements here, other than there would be a mandatory referral to the Town Plan and Zoning Commission for its recommendation to the council, which is a little bit different than the type of referral that you're used to with TPZ, where if there's a negative referral or a negative recommendation by TPZ, the town council needs a supermajority vote to overcome that. Here, the TPZ's recommendation would be advisory only, and so you could still approve the site plan by a majority vote. In addition, we've also built in an optional referral for the town council to send it to the Design Review Advisory Committee, which, depending on the type of project, we thought that the council might want DRAC's input on it. Other than that, Madam Mayor, the ordinance does not change any, and I apologize, we've also built a public hearing requirement into the ordinance as well so that we can hear from the public, which does not exist under the current structure with the town planner because of the administrative nature of that approval. The timeframes, Madam Mayor, don't change under this. Under state statute, municipalities have 65 days to grant or deny site plan approval, or it's deemed approved. And so we can't change that by ordinance. And so under this ordinance, the council would still have 65 days to approve or disapprove an application in the same manner that the town planner does. And with that, Madam Mayor, that summarizes the ordinance. I'm happy. Oh, one other housekeeping item I should address as well. I handed around, Madam Mayor, a substitute ordinance. This does not make any substantive changes to the ordinance that was originally read in a couple town council meetings ago. It simply makes technical changes, fixing a few Scribner's errors that were in that original ordinance, capitalizing a few words and inserting town before Plan and Zoning Commission. But beyond that, Madam Mayor, there's no substantive change to the ordinance that you're considering.
Thank you, Mr. Dodge. So I'm going to open it up for questions. We actually will look for public comment as well. And if there's anybody that would like to speak to this public hearing. And any written comments, Mr. Davidoff?
Madam Mayor, there were no written remarks.
Okay. So questions from the council. Are there questions on this? Mr. Wang?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. If we transition from site plan approval to town council approval, would an applicant incur a significantly increased cost to bring that to council as opposed to site plan approval?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, just to clarify, we are not it's still technically site plan approval. That's what the council is considering here. It's simply changing the approval authority from the town planner to the town council, and there would be no increase in the cost to an applicant. They would pay the same fee that's set in the schedule of fees for an application for a site plan.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. Anything? Yes, you have another question?
When we have housing or zoning meetings, usually there's, for example, a lawyer, sometimes several lawyers, engineer. Those people, they come in the evening. Sometimes they come for quite a few hours. Is that a significantly increased cost to the applicant compared to what they would incur for site approval? Or is that a pretty nominal cost, or do you have any sense of the cost?
Lawyers aren't cheap, so I'm sure that there would be an increased cost, especially if there was a public hearing, but I think it would be nominal. Even for a site plan approval, there's typically a lot of engineering work, legal work, and other work by other consultants that goes into that. I don't think that this would materially change those costs that would be incurred by the applicant, other than if they chose to bring their consultants to a hearing and had to compensate them for that. Because again, it's the same application that's being considered by the town. It's just changing the authority that is reviewing that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. Thank you, Mr. Dodge. Are there other questions? Oh, Dr. Harris.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. I just want to make sure I'm understanding, just for people maybe who haven't been doing this as long as some of the other people who are sitting around the table. So in the past, before we're making this change, the town planner would have made a recommendation, and it still would have come to the town council, if I'm understanding that correctly. So I'm not completely understanding if it would have gone to the town planner and now it comes to the town council, and with this new ordinance, it's going to still go to the town planner and come to the town council. Can you just clarify for me what is the difference, unless I'm misunderstanding what happened in the past?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this is a little bit of a unique situation because the recent application that we had is, I think, only the second 830G applicant who has chosen to pursue site plan approval. We did have one before that, but it was actually in a zone where that was a permitted use and there was a slight deviation from some of the standards. This is a much more intensive change, the more recent application that we received. And the process right now is that under our existing ordinance and the way that we reviewed the last site plan application that came in, the town planner is the sole decider of whether that site plan application is approved or not. It's different from the process that we go through with zoning applications, where the town council is the issuing authority for a zoning application, where the town planner makes a recommendation to the town council on whether to approve that or not. But the town council is the ultimate arbiter. Currently, under our ordinance, it is the town planner who is the decider on this. There's no recommendation or involvement by the town council in that decision. And so the town planner would remain available to collect staff comments and to make recommendations to the town council on an approval or conditions that the council may wish to improve, but it's shifting the issuing authority from the planner's office to the town council, which is different than our typical zoning applications.
Okay, thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Can I just ask for, so, and I know it's the same scenario, if there's a rejection, if the town planner had voted it down, obviously we're seeing what happens or does not approve. It's the same process if the council were to vote it down. And then for an 830G, that would probably be, the process would probably end up in litigation, correct?
We always hope it wouldn't end up in litigation, but if the council were to deny an 830G application under this ordinance and it was in a zone where affordable housing is allowed as of right, by as of right, I mean under 830G, not under our existing ordinances, then the only basis for the council denying it would be on the basis that the public health and safety concerns outweighed the town's need for affordable housing, and it would be incumbent on the council at that point to articulate reasons why that was the case.
Right. Okay. No other questions? Miss? Okay, Ms. Osris.
This is probably piggybacking off of what you stated. When I think about these things, I know the type of work that goes into it. Sometimes if it's too broad or too strict, might cause problems. Is there anything else that you're foreseeing as like potential challenges in the future with an ordinance like this? I know Sherry talked about, what if, something gets rejected? Are there any other instances where it might cause a potential problem for the council or the town?
None that I can think of, Madam Mayor. Like I said, it would be up to the town council to articulate defensible reasons for denying an application, and that would shift, obviously with the last application that we dealt with, the town planner had a lot of time and a lot of resources to be able to write an opinion concerning that decision. Here, the town council would still have the same resources because you would be receiving staff comments in much the same way that the town planner received them. And there's also the opportunity, it's not simply approval or denial. The town council could still, as an example, impose conditions on the project if they were justifiable. And so it would really be a matter of the council listening to the evidence, taking that in, and then articulating a basis for denying an application if they were inclined to deny it, or if the council imposed conditions on application for articulating reasons why those conditions were necessary to protect public health and safety and were reasonable.
Yeah, you okay? All right, Mr. Walters, no? I thought you were. All right. I don't see any more questions. Okay, well, I'm going to read into the record letter dated March 3rd, 2026, from Town Planning and Zoning Commission voting to recommend approval. Letter dated February 5th, 2026, from Capital Regional Council of Governments, finding no apparent conflict with regional plans and policies or the concerns of neighboring towns. And with that, I'm closing the public hearing. And if you don't mind, we're going to hop right into our town council meeting. Give everybody a minute to adjust their papers. Okay, I have to pull up one thing. Okay. All right. I am calling the March 10th Town Council meeting to order. It is now 7:31, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, Mr. Davidoff.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Mayor Cantor,
Here.
Councilor Harris,
Here.
Counselor Lazarus.
Present.
Counselor Lyons. Counselor McGinnis.
Present.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Poland.
Here.
Counselor Walters.
Here.
Counselor Wang.
Here.
Counselor Winograd.
Here.
All present.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davidoff. Before we go into our regular business, I just want to pause and acknowledge a few very, very painful losses that have touched our community in the recent weeks. We continue to mourn the tragic loss of Hull High senior Camden Siegel, a talented student athlete with a bright future ahead of him whose life was taken far too soon. Our hearts remain with Camden's family, friends, teammates, and the entire Hull High community, and actually, our whole community. We're also holding in our thoughts the family of Shane Albert, son of retired West Hartford Deputy Fire Chief Keith Albert. Shane grew up around our firehouses, and his passing has deeply affected many within our fire department. And the whole family, entire community are very, again, a lot of pain and really hurting from this. And also, we remember Jerry Gerard and Kathleen Kit Boucher, longtime West Hartford residents. Kit was a beloved teacher at Bugby Elementary School who touched the lives of so many students and families during her years in our schools. Their tragic passing has been felt by many who knew them and cared about them. In times like these, we are reminded of both the fragility of life and the strength of community. I want to express my deep gratitude to the many people who have stepped forward to support our students, families, and our first responders during this difficult time. Our school administrators, teachers, and highly trained counseling staff, who many of them are in the audience today. One second, I just missed my place. Counseling staff have been working tirelessly to care for students and families who are grieving. Support animals and crisis support teams have also been present in our schools, providing comfort in ways that words sometimes cannot. Their compassion, professionalism, and dedication make an enormous difference as our community processes these losses together. Tonight, we keep all of these families and loved ones in our hearts, and we'll take a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm going to transition actually to a proclamation, which I think is really important and speaks even more so in these times of challenging times. So I don't know if, Helen, we can come out. I'm sorry. Oh, Liz. Okay, perfect. You can all meet me at the podium. Perfect. Well, that's what it's all about. Ah, great. Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay. Whereas social workers in the town of West Hartford have worked to enhance human well-being, promote justice, and ensure that the basic needs of individuals, families, and communities are met with dignity and compassion. Whereas social workers choose this profession out of a deep commitment to service, advocacy, and positive change. And the 2026 Social Work Month theme, Social Workers Uplift, Defend, and Transform, recognizes the dedication and resilience of social workers who provide hope, care, and support, particularly during times of a significant challenge and change. And whereas social workers serve in schools, hospitals, mental health agencies, veteran centers, child supportive services, criminal justice system, corporations, and in federal, state, and local government, empowering individuals and families to achieve their fullest potential through skilled support and advocacy. And whereas social workers adhere to a professionalism that emphasizes equity, respect for human dignity, and the pursuit of social justice, guiding their work and integrity and a steadfast commitment to the people and communities they serve. And whereas the social work profession continues to grow with more than 810,000 social workers nationwide, contributing through education, advocacy, leadership, and direct service, making it one of the fastest expanding professions dedicated to human well-being. And whereas the town of West Hartford expresses its deep appreciation for the dedication, compassion, and professionalism professionalism of social workers across all practices, whose commitment to service strengthens the well-being of our residents and enhances the quality of life of our community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of the Town Council and the residents of West Hartford, I, Mayor Sherry J. Cantor, do hereby recognize March 2026 as Social Work Month and honor the invaluable contributions of social workers who uplift individuals, defend vulnerable populations, and transform systems to create stronger, more equitable communities. Thank you so much. All right, thank you again for all that you do every day, and it goes so behind the scenes, and but you change lives every day. All right, we are now public forum. I don't think there's anything appropriate because we're doing budget and we have budget hearings, but Mr. Dodge, will you just check if there's anybody signed up? This is any resident or taxpayer of the town that may address the council regarding any item on the agenda which is not subject to a public hearing, and I don't think there's anything. Nobody signed up. Okay, we will go to consent calendar. Ms. Poland.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without objection, I move that items 5A, 5B, 7B, 7C, and 10A are placed on the consent calendar.
Is there any objection? Okay, hearing no objection, the items are placed on consent. Ms. Poland.
I move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we go to 6A. Ms. Poland.
Minutes. Oh, no, never mind.
I'm sorry? Oh, 6A. Oh, sorry, yes. Corporation Counsel, Attorney Dodge, would you like to just do a brief overview of this public hearing we just had? And I know we have a substitute ordinance.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As I explained during the public hearing, Madam Mayor, this is a ordinance that shifts the authority to grant site plan approval for 830G applications that do not conform with our zoning standards from the town planner to the town council. Madam Mayor, built within that, this would only apply to applications that were 830G applications that did not comply with the uses permitted in the schedule of main permitted uses in that zone, or main accessory use or accessory uses that allowed an increase in density and that established new streets. In terms of the process that's set forth here, Madam Mayor, it would require the town council to hold a public hearing and also to refer the matter to the Town Plan and Zoning Commission for its recommendation. There's also an optional referral to the Design Review Advisory Committee. And Madam Mayor, the timelines under the ordinance do not change from the statutorily required timelines for site plan approval, where the town council would still be required to approve or disapprove the application within 65 days.
Thank you. And we need to move the substitute ordinance. So if there's any, just as clarification, right, we're just moving that, and the other ordinance, we do take no action.
Yes, Madam Mayor. The substitute becomes the ordinance, and as I explained during the public hearing, because these are technical changes only to address grammatical issues, there's no requirement to notice this for a new public hearing.
Thank you for making that clear. All right. Any comments or questions, any discussion before? I'm sorry?
I make a motion?
Motion and?
Yep. I adopt a motion to adopt the substitute ordinance concerning site plan approval of affordable housing developments.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Now, is there any discussion prior to vote? Okay, I think we did discuss whether there was, and I thought Dr. Wang's question was very appropriate, if there would be a change in cost to an applicant, and there might be some additional cost if they decide to bring an attorney, but a lot of preparation needs to happen. And this became clear that we had our first 830G application or site approval process that we just went through. And so this really brought it to a head, understanding that it didn't allow for a public hearing and we didn't have, the town council had no opportunity to weigh in on that kind of approval. So we thought that this was a better way to represent this body and the public in the process. So any other comments or questions? Okay. And the time frame is this, remains unchanged, 65 days. Okay. With that, then if we are no other comments or questions, we will do roll call. Mr. Davidoff.
Mayor Cantor,
Yes.
Counselor Harris,
Yes.
Counselor Lazarus.
Yes.
Counselor Lyons,
Yes.
Counselor McGinnis,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Poland,
Yes.
Counselor Walters,
Yes.
Counselor Wang,
Yes.
Counselor Winograd.
Yes.
Passes unanimously 9-0.
Thank you, Mr. Davidoff. All right, and we go to 7. We go to 7A. Ms. Poland.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion that we receive and set for public hearing on March 19, 2026 at 2 p.m. and on March 24, 2026 at 6 p.m. and to refer the capital improvement plan to Town Plan and Zoning Commission, the fiscal year budget as proposed by the town manager and superintendent of schools.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, and I think we go to you, Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Town Councilors. It's my pleasure this evening to present the fiscal year 27 budget. I'll give the screen a moment to warm up before we get into our presentation this evening. This worked like a charm this afternoon, Mr. Davidoff. There we go. Thank you so much, Mr. Davidoff. And tonight, I'm presenting the recommended fiscal 27 proposed budget. Before turning to the financial details, I think it is important for us as a group to pause and reflect on the progress we have made together over the past year. Our budget, as we know, is more than just numbers on a page. It is a reflection of our community's priorities, our shared values, and our collective vision for West Hartford's future. This year's budget theme, Leading with Vision, Strategic Investments for West Hartford's Future, reflects both where we are today and where we are going. As we know, West Hartford continues to be one of the most desirable communities in the state and country. And that is because of thoughtful leadership, strong partnerships, and a commitment to making investments that sustain our quality of life for generations to come. Over the past year, West Hartford has once again received national and statewide recognition as one of the most exceptional communities in our state and in the country. Our town was ranked number 19 in the nation and number 1 in Connecticut by U.S. News World Report for best places to live. It was named best place to live in Connecticut for the 8th consecutive year by Niche, and was most recently recognized by AARP as the most livable community in Connecticut. These recognitions do not happen by chance. They are the result of deliberate decisions made by the town council, the dedication of our leadership team and our staff, and the engagement of a community that cares deeply about where it lives. Together, we have continued to make meaningful progress in several key areas that define our success. Public safety and community well-being remain at the forefront of our efforts. This past year marked the second year of implementing our Vision Zero initiative, an ambitious commitment to eliminate all traffic-related serious injuries and fatalities in West Hartford by 2033. Through data-driven analysis, community partnerships, and coordinated planning, we are beginning to see the framework take shape for safer streets across our town. In partnership with our town council, we also adopted an ordinance authorizing the use of automated traffic enforcement safety devices and approved the submission of the town's enforcement plan to state and federal agencies. Once approved, this technology will become another important tool to improve roadway safety and support our Vision Zero goals. These initiatives demonstrate how thoughtful policy and strategic investments can directly improve the safety and quality of life for our residents. Infrastructure investments are essential to maintaining the vibrancy of our community and supporting economic growth. This year, we successfully completed Phase 1 of the Center Infrastructure Master Plan with the reconstruction of LaSalle Road. The project transformed one of the center's most important corridors with expanded sidewalks, new street trees, decorative lighting, and traffic calming improvements. The result, as we've seen, is a more walkable, welcoming, and vibrant downtown environment that supports local businesses and strengthens community connections. Building on that success, we also took an important step forward in positioning West Hartford for the future by opting into the Connecticut Municipal Development Authority, providing new opportunities to advance economic development and affordable housing projects within our transit-oriented development district. Housing availability and affordability remain critical challenges across Connecticut and throughout the nation and for our town council. Over the past year, the council approved several transformative housing developments that will increase West Hartford's affordable housing percentage from 8.04% to 10.1% once completed. Importantly, these developments include the first affordable home ownership opportunity created through the town's affordable housing initiatives. Through the town's affordable housing development program, we supported 4 projects with access to $9 million in funding, helping create 153 new affordable housing units. 44 of those units opened in 2025, an additional 74 will open in 26, and the remaining units are expected to be completed in the coming years. In addition, our staff has actively leveraged environmental remediation programs to support redevelopment. 2 housing projects received brownfield remediation funding to assist with site cleanup, and a nonprofit organization received environmental assessment support to help advance future expansion. West Hartford is currently managing 4 brownfield funding grants, including the first $6 million award issued in the state, demonstrating how strategic partnerships and grant funding can catalyze investment in our community. As we look ahead to our nation's 250th anniversary in 2026, West Hartford residents have stepped forward in extraordinary ways to help celebrate our shared history. More than 40 volunteers joined together with town staff to form our America 250 committee, creating 4 subcommittees dedicated to arts and culture, public events, history, and civics and humanities. Their work has already begun with programming that includes lectures, concerts, a historic flag showcase, a student essay contest, a commemorative cookbook, a time capsule, and expanded programming tied to longstanding community traditions such as Celebrate West Hartford and the Memorial Day Parade. Their work exemplifies the spirit of civic engagement that continues to define West Hartford. While we are proud of these accomplishments, we remain focused on the future. Our continued success depends on sound financial management and strategic investments that support strong infrastructure, a talented workforce, and a thriving and engaging community. Through responsible and thoughtful planning, the town is advancing initiatives that enhance services, expand housing opportunities, and strengthen community connections. By investing today, we are ensuring West Hartford remains resilient, vibrant, and well-positioned for the future. Our fiscal year 27 budget is built around the principle of leading with vision, making strategic investments today that will sustain West Hartford's strength, resilience, and competitiveness for years to come. Our goals for the coming year include among the following, in addition to many others that we'll discuss through the budget process. First, we will maintain fiscal stability while making targeted investments in critical infrastructure. We will continue to protect West Hartford's national leadership in livability, ensuring that our services, financial management, and quality of life initiatives remain among the very best in the state and country. We will advance Phase 2 of the Center Infrastructure Plan along Farmington Avenue, further strengthening the walkability, accessibility, and economic vitality of our downtown. We will continue implementing our Vision Zero safety initiatives, including the rollout of projects funded through the $3.2 million Safe Streets for All federal grant and the implementation of automated traffic safety enforcement plans once approvals are secured at the state. We will continue to expand housing opportunities by supporting the development of affordable housing projects and monitoring state housing legislation to ensure West Hartford remains well-positioned to access resources and maintain local planning authority. We will invest in our workforce, strengthening recruitment, retention, and professional development programs while implementing succession planning strategies that ensure long-term organizational stability. And we will continue to strengthen community engagement, expanding digital outreach, improving language accessibility, and creating new opportunities for residents to participate in shaping the future of our community. West Hartford's success has always been built on a strong partnership between the Town Council, our directors and professional staff, community organizations, and engaged residents. The fiscal 27 budget reflects that partnership. It balances financial stewardship with the strategic investments necessary to sustain the exceptional quality of life that our residents expect and deserve. And by leading with vision and making thoughtful investments today, we are ensuring that West Hartford remains a vibrant, inclusive, and thriving community for generations to come. As we look forward to fiscal year 27, we do so knowing that challenges remain. Inflationary pressures, rising operational costs, and increasing demands on our services require us to be both strategic and disciplined in our approach. And this budget positions us to meet those challenges head-on, investing in our community, ensuring fiscal sustainability, and delivering high-quality services our residents expect and deserve. The proposed budget reflects a 4.8% increase in municipal spending for a total of $144.1 million, approximate 7% increase in spending for the Board of Education for a total of $228.2 million, and a 16.4% increase in capital financing for a total of $19.6 million, totaling a total general fund budget of $392 million. Our approach as we move forward will be clear. We will continue to invest in public safety, infrastructure, and safe mobility for pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists, ensuring that our streets, parks, and facilities remain safe and accessible. We will prioritize education, giving our students and teachers the resources they need to sustain the excellence that has defined our school district for decades. We will remain a strong, stable financial position, balancing necessary investments with responsible fiscal management. This slide summarizes our revenues and expenses in more detail, and we can start on the expense side of the ledger, and you can see that down at the bottom here, wages and salaries are increasing by 2.8%, which represents wages and salaries associated with full-time employees, as well as the increases for part-time employees and the increases in minimum wage that we are seeing. Operating costs have increased, 4.8%, total increase of $1,498,000. This is a category that one of the categories that we have more control over than others, and we have cut significantly coming into this budget. A significant increase in this 4.8% increase is a result of our waste management contract, which is expiring in October of this year. We have budgeted a little bit over $1 million for an increase to that particular budget. But our director, Mr. Phillips, and John's fashion is already out to bid on that contract, and we expect to have better news as we move through the budgeting process and by the time we adopt in late April. Our largest increase in our fund is in the fringe benefits, insurance, and pension liability, where we saw an increase of $3.6 million, or 7%. The largest portion of this increase is attributed to our healthcare costs. As the council knows, both the schools and the town, with the exception of our fire department, participate in the Connecticut State Partnership Plan for healthcare, joining roughly 100 other cities and towns who join that plan, creating potential economies of scales in the plan to help mitigate year-over-year healthcare increases. We joined this plan back in 2019, saving a nearly combined $3 million at the time for both the town and the school district. Heading into this budget this year, we were advised to budget somewhere in between 12.5% to 14% by our comptroller's office. Last evening, Comptroller Scanlon sent an email out to participating members in this partnership plan, letting us know that that increase came in a little bit lower at 11.5%. So we will be able to make an slight adjustment to that number as we move forward. And I see our superintendent in the audience as well. And we will be able to slightly adjust the board's number with that slightly lower increase at 11.5%. So last year's increase was 9.4%. This year's increase is a result of higher utilization in both our medical and pharmacy utilization, especially inpatient hospital stays, and a rising specialty drug cost line item. Though we are not pleased with this increase, we have benefited overall by our participation in this plan, and our increase overall, including this year's increase over the last 8 years, has averaged 5.5%. So medical cost trend this year that we're seeing, talking with our consultants and actuaries, both in the state and nationally, is in that 9 to 10% range. So it's an issue that we are all dealing with in this high medical inflationary time period. But again, recognizing that 11.5% is a little bit higher than that average. We've also budgeted a $400,000 increase to our retiree healthcare reserve fund to offset post-retirement healthcare liability, a commitment that the council has made since back in the 1980s when addressing post-retirement healthcare liability. So appreciate the council's commitment to prudent financial management when it comes to addressing our longer-term liabilities. On the revenue side, you can see we have a corresponding increase of 6.6%. The largest outlier here is in the intergovernmental line item with a 1.8 increase there. That's primarily attributable to the motor vehicle grant that we received from the state to offset the lower mill rate for motor vehicles. So overall, as I said, we have a 6.6% overall increase in general fund expenditures, 4.8% in town, approximately 7 with the board, 16.4% increase in capital financing, and at this point would be recommending a 2.91 mil increase, or 6.5% to 47.69. The motor vehicle mill rate of 32.46 would remain unchanged. So here we'll take a closer look at the distribution of general revenue. And as you can see, this slide highlights one of the fundamental structural challenges facing cities and towns across Connecticut. Approximately, as we know, 87% of our general fund revenue is generated through property tax. Unlike many other states, Connecticut cities and towns have very limited revenue diversification options, which means the property tax remains the primary mechanism to fund essential services such as education, public safety, infrastructure, and programs. There are presently 2 bills that we will continue to monitor in the coming weeks that would have a positive impact on our revenue. One related to the amendment of the educational cost-sharing grant to adjust for inflation. The foundation per pupil cost in the formula has been $11,500 since 2013. So there is a bill that would allow that number to be adjusted by inflation. The other bill we are watching closely is related to the additional 1% restaurant and hospitality tax that was implemented back in 2019 and appropriated to the state's general fund instead of the communities that need this offset to help fund services provided in town to restaurants and hotels. The bill right now would call for half of that 1% to go to the tourism line item within the state's budget, and the other half percent would come directly to cities and towns. Our grand list for the current year, West Hartford, as we know, has experienced one of the larger year-over-year increases we have seen in many years, with approximately $81.5 million in total grand list growth compared to the prior year. Of that amount, $45 million is attributed to real property, $26 million to motor vehicles, and $9.7 million to personal property. This trend is encouraging and speaks to the strength and desirability of our community. Looking ahead, we anticipate that next year's grand list growth will exceed this year's increase as several significant projects continue to move through various stages of completion. Developments such as One West Hartford at 950 Troutbrook, our condo project and apartment project in West Hartford Center, as well as the Heritage at the former University of Connecticut West Hartford campus, among several others, will continue to add meaningful value to the tax base as they come online. In addition, next year is a scheduled revaluation year for the town as well. And given the strong real estate market and the continued increase in home values that we are experiencing here in West Hartford, we expect that revaluation will also contribute to significant growth in the overall grand list. Together, these factors position the town well as we continue to balance responsible budgeting and taxpayer relief with the investments necessary to support a thriving and growing community. As a deeper dive into the governor's proposed state budget, you can see there's a 4.8% increase in the governor's budget, municipal aid budget to West Hartford. But as I spoke about earlier, a predominant amount of that was $1.6 million directly attributable to the motor vehicle grant that we received for the difference in the state mill rate and our mill rate. Here we can take a look at what state aid has been like over the last 10 years, and you can see it has grown from 2018 at $21.6 million up to $37.3 million today. It's remained relatively stable over the last few years. The big jump between 22 and 23 was attributable mostly to the move from when the state implemented the statewide motor vehicle grant mill rate, I should say, sorry, and our mill rate. So that is the reason for that increase. So unfortunately, it wasn't due to additional revenue sources for the town. Now we'll get into general fund expenditures again. Just a quick summary, a 4.8 increase in the town, 7 in the Board of Ed, 16.4 in capital financing with a $24.2 million increase overall, or 6.6%. And here we take a look at a pie chart that breaks out the expenses between our school district, our town, and capital financing. And if you were to take, I say this every year, if you were to take this pie chart and drop it in any city or town in the state, it would be broken out almost identical to ours, with over 1,600 plus full-time employees delivering educational services to 9,000 students here in town, 9,000 plus. That is what's attributable to the difference between the town services and the board services. Here you can take another look at the town expenditures broken out by wages and salaries, operating expenses, and fringe benefits at 55 million. So a combination of wages and salaries and benefits make up about 77% of our total budget. Again, as we know, we're a people-based service, delivering services to the town. Therefore, a predominant portion of our budget is made up in wages and salaries and benefits. And here you can take a closer look at the breakout between, you can see the school district up at the top, non-departmental, which would be our benefits line items. And then you can see public safety at 9.4%, capital financing at 5%, public works is our next highest department on the town side at 4.1%, and then all other departments within town make up 6.4% of our general fund expenditures. And here you can take a look at each individual department, from general government to public safety, community development, public works, our third largest, as I said, at 4.1%, 16 million. Education, 228 million, and then police and fire combined at 9.4% and $36.6 million. The next two slides are committed to our pension fund, and as you can see, our actuarial determined employer contribution, our ADEC as it's commonly referred to, is increasing from $10 million to $10.5 million. Our POB debt service remains fairly stable at $17.6 million. And for our 4 newest council members, just a little bit of history here. Our pension plan has historically, or was historically, a large driver of our budget increases prior to 2021. At that point, the ADEC, which today is at, as I said, $10.5 million, our ADEC in 2020 leading into 2021 was $25 million. So a $15 million difference between the ADEC back then and where it is today. And that number was increasing by anywhere from $1.5 million to $2 million a year. And utilizing our AAA rated status, bond rating status, we issued pension obligation bonds to correct that pension challenge as we move forward. In addition, we established a pension obligation reserve fund at that time to fund, to smooth over year-to-year increases in our pension fund to our taxpayers. And then in years where we would have a flat ADEC or an ADEC would go down, we would continue to flat fund that ADEC to continue to fund our pension obligation reserve fund to ensure that it maintains a healthy status while we complete the final 20 years of paying off our pension obligation bonds. So we had our meeting with our actuaries a few weeks ago, and to give you an idea of what the overall success of this pension obligation bond process has been since 2021, we have saved, in addition to funding our debt obligation to those bonds, we have saved $18 million to our taxpayers over the course of the last 5 years from this prudent financial decision that was made back in 2021. And as I mentioned, we have 21 years to remaining on that bond, but we look forward to the successful completion of that process and maintaining our pension obligation reserve fund during that time period to mitigate any fluctuating challenges that may happen over the course of the next 21 years. So key town expenditure drivers, the top ones, as I mentioned, were risk management, which is our healthcare, our waste management, which, as I mentioned, also we will be addressing through the RFQP process, and then regular payroll increases of about $1 million. The superintendent's budget, last week our superintendent presented his budget to the Board of Education. West Hartford Public Schools remains one of our defining strengths of our town, as I think we can all attest. Our district is consistently recognized among the best in the state and the nation, from a nationally recognized early childhood programs to blue ribbon elementary schools, high-performing middle schools, and both Conard and Hall earning gold medal recognition for advanced placement performance. Excellence exists at every level of our program. In addition, our students benefit from award-winning arts, athletics, and a nationally recognized unified sports and exceptional post-secondary transition program. That continued success of our schools is essential to the strength, reputation, and future of West Hartford. And some of the primary drivers of the school budget was salaries increases of contractual increases of about 5.6%. The healthcare number, that challenge that we've talked about on the school side, we could see that number reducing slightly as we move forward, as I discussed. And then transportation, tuition, and utilities all increased by 4.9%. Our capital improvement, as you know, we have a significant infrastructure to maintain throughout town, and our 12-year capital improvement program is our town council's important commitment to maintaining that infrastructure. Our current 12-year CIP calls for an investment of nearly $578.6 million in town and school facilities, transportation, and infrastructure, including flood mitigation improvements. These investments will help make West Hartford safer and stronger with commitments to Vision Zero, our new Elma Community Center, Senior Center, Teen Center, and Library, our center infrastructure plan, and flood mitigation. Years 1 and 2 are the most important parts of our 12-year plan, and those are the 2 years that you would be voting on with this budget. And you can see fiscal year 27 calls for a $15.5 million commitment, and fiscal year 28 calls for a $58 million line item for CIP. And we have the CIP broken out between transportation and infrastructure, education, parks and recreation, town buildings, government operations, and rolling stock and miscellaneous equipment. The largest line item is presently under transportation, and historically has been in this category as well, at $38 million. Second is education at $28 million, and then town buildings at $27 million. As we move forward. And this highlights some of the main projects over the next 2 years, with $10.7 million committed to street reconstruction and resurfacing, $10 million to flood mitigation, $5 million to the New Park Bridge replacement, 1.5 to infrastructure improvement, the Mountain and Albany Avenue intersection at $1 million, and then in education, we have our continued commitment to elementary school air quality projects with $11 million in years 1 and 2, with an additional $5.3 million in exterior improvements, $4.3 million in interior school improvements, $2.2 million in heating and ventilation systems, and the hall track and field athletic field needs to be replaced this year at a cost of $2 million. And then we have the Isham Memorial Garage restoration at $6.6 million in years 1 and 2, and $5 million committed to the new community center in year 2, and $4.2 million to the Veterans Rink improvements for years 1 and 2. And here you can take a look at the revenue sources for our capital improvement plan, with the majority, 84%, issuing general obligation bonds at $489 million, 7.6% for federal and state grants at $43.7 million, and $36.8 million for capital non-recurring expenditure funds as well. So these are numbers that we continue to work on, the federal and state grants, and will continue to do so to continue to offset some of the projects that I just mentioned and others that we will continue to look at over the next 12 years. And here you can take a look at, again, broken out further between transportation and infrastructure over the 12 years, 184 million committed to transportation and infrastructure, $177 million committed to education, and then $140 million committed to town buildings. That includes the Elmwood Community Center, the new Elmwood Community Center, in that larger number. So that's a little bit larger than it was last year because of that, or significantly larger because of that. But again, we will continue to pursue state and federal funding to help offset the cost of the community center. So I do want to, before concluding my presentation, I want to acknowledge something that I think is on everyone's mind. And while this proposed budget reflects financial planning and important investments in West Hartford's future, we also recognize that any budget increase has a real impact on our taxpayers. We understand that any potential increase in the tax burden is significant for many residents and families and businesses, and we approach that responsibility with great care and seriousness. The recommendations presented this evening are guided by our commitment to leading with vision, strategic investments for West Hartford's future, ensuring that we continue to maintain the high quality of services our residents expect, while also making thoughtful investments in infrastructure, public safety, housing, and community assets that will benefit West Hartford for decades to come. At the same time, we recognize that this is only the beginning of the public budget process. Between now and budget adoption, we will have multiple opportunities to engage in thoughtful discussion about this proposal. We welcome input from both the town council and our residents as we review priorities, explore efficiencies, and consider creative ways to mitigate the potential tax impact wherever possible. To support that dialogue, we have 6 public meetings that are scheduled between now and budget adoption, including 3 community conversation meetings where our residents can review the budget in greater detail and share feedback and ask questions on budget priorities. All of these meetings are an important part of our process and ensure transparency, collaboration, and community participation as we work toward a final budget. West Hartford's strength has always come from the partnership between our town council, our professional staff, and our engaged residents that care deeply about its future. I look forward to this discussions ahead and to working collaboratively with our council and our residents to refine this budget in a way that reflects our shared priorities and our collective responsibility. And you can see here we have, in addition to those community conversation meetings, we have 2 public hearings on the town side, 1 on the board side. In addition, we have 5 budget workshops that our council and public can view as well, where we will be presenting in detail all of our department updates to the council. So we have a very busy 6 weeks ahead with a combined 19 meetings ahead. So we will spend a lot of time on this proposed budget and working with all of you to mitigate the impact on our residents as much as possible. I do want to give a really strong shout out to our budget team who, as we all know, has been working really around the clock 7 days a week over the last 6 weeks, essentially coming out of the holidays between then and tonight. And I want to thank Jennifer Lee, Amy Sokola, Carrie Hupford, Jackie McLaughlin, Eva Nascimento, Erica Sledge, Patty Lewis, and Lisa Newton. The 3 of them are with us this evening, have been working very hard on the budget that's been presented to you this evening and will be part of our budget deliberations as we move through the next 6 weeks. So I'm indebted to them for their commitment and dedication they take in this process in delivering this product to our council and to our community. And I also want to give a big shout out to our leadership team, our directors, who we've, between Patty, Lisa, Erica, and myself, working closely with our directors over the last 6 weeks as well, both on their capital improvement plan budget as well as their operating budget. So have spent a lot of time with our team and appreciate their commitment and dedication to what they do all year long, serving our community, but especially during this time period as we look, again, for ways to mitigate this impact on our community as much as possible. So thank you to my team. And that is a summary of the budget. Madam Mayor, I'm happy to turn it back to you and our council for any high-level questions that you may have prior to the 19 or so meetings that we will head into over the next 6 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith, and this is it is the hardest thing we do and the most important thing we do. So, and decisions we make now reflect 5, 10, 20 years and beyond. So, I appreciate, so, just to review the process, we received the town manager's budget, which includes the Board of Ed line item, and we are responsible only for the Board of Ed line item by state statute. We will be we really have been struggling with public input, and last year being a significant increase, and this year on top of last year being a potential significant increase, we wanted to make sure the public had the opportunity to understand what these numbers, or what are in these numbers, and decisions that are made, how they will impact our community. And so we established these community conversations, basically, with the superintendent of schools, the town manager, and whoever from the council can attend, and the public asking questions and getting the factual answers. And so we have, as the town manager said, 3 of those. We did an afternoon and 2 evenings. I did notice we also buy, those are extra. There are things that we decided to do last year. They worked well. We thought they were helpful for people to understand the budget process and, again, why the numbers are what they are. We all wish they were 0 or a decrease. Believe me, we all do. We're all taxpayers too. But we also are responsible for taking care of our community and want to make sure that we're in a position that we remain a top-ranked community. And so we also have state mandated, or town mandated budget hearings. And we have, on our budget and brief, I did notice that there is a typo, it looks like, on, Mr. Ledwith, I don't know if you have the budget and brief in front of you, or maybe in the black box. There's a March 19th date, 2 p.m. for our afternoon. We do one afternoon, one evening. And I think we scheduled our evening for March 24th at 6 p.m. And it says March 25th at 7 on this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We will fix that.
Okay, thank you. All right, and so just to say that, like, oh, okay, we're not going to discuss this. We break out into all of all of us are on committees, and we go through in depth what the budgets are for each of those committees and what any suggested changes might mean to those departments, and how that will impact services to our community. So, with that, I think that is all that we are going to be talking about for budget. Again, conversations will happen, lots of them. So, and just also to, one of the other reasons that we established these 3 hearings, for budget hearings, we receive comment. We don't engage in a conversation, which is challenging because somebody might say something, it might not be accurate, or it might be, there might be an affirmation or some kind of recognition, and that's not the way the public hearings are set up. And this gives us a more interactive forum to be able to do that. So, all right. So we now have a motion on the floor, a second. Is there any other discussion on like logistics, not on items in the budget? Mr. Lyons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, I texted the town manager late last evening, and I'm grateful for his quick response. Always available. And I'm being among the new folks here, still learning about quorum and issues, and I don't want to stumble over quorum issues. So are we okay to attend these as to sit in the audience, or is it something we should just let the people who are listed on there go? I don't want to overstep.
So through you, Madam Mayor, to Councilor Lyons' question. So the format that we went with that last year that what we will proceed with this year involves a short presentation by the superintendent and myself, as well as from the mayor and the chair of the Board of Education, and the deputy mayor is generally there as well as the vice chair of the Board of Education, or another member of the council or the board. So I think being in the audience is probably okay. I might turn to Corporation Counsel Dodge to confirm. What we don't want to happen is to have it become a meeting where all of us are engaged in a conversation on the budget, and it becomes a formal public meeting that would require meeting minutes. And Corporation Counsel Dodge.
Thank you, Ledwith. To answer your question, yes, for those meetings, if members of the council wanted to attend and not be in active participation, that wouldn't create a quorum issue where we might unintentionally have an unnoticed council meeting.
Through you, Madam Mayor, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you. It worked last year, and hopefully it will again. So, Mr. Walters.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Mayor. I'm just looking to see public safety up there, and I'm not sure that I see it.
Public safety will be on Tuesday, April 7th. You're right, it's not there. It should be right there.
So it'll be the day of the meeting?
So it'll be in the morning of the 7th, which is the first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
We can talk if that's a scheduling issue. Okay. Yep. Thank you. That should have been right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot in a morning meeting potentially, too. But we also sometimes add a meeting of the whole in between that April 7th and that April 20th timeframe, or 20, yeah. for sort of a collection of any ideas that might come out of committee to review impact. So we might want to schedule something, put something in for that.
Okay.
And just as a holder.
Yep.
It's okay if you're not here. All right. It is busy, and there is a lot to do. And the Board of Ed adopts early. Board of Ed adopts March 31. So we only have 3 weeks from board adoption, and then we go another 3 weeks beyond that. But okay. All right. Who? Oh, Dr. Harrison.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, I just wanted to clarify, while we're going through this budget, what is the proper way, if we have questions, do we send them to an email, or do we, because obviously I don't want to bring every single question to limited time meetings.
Through you, Madam Mayor, certainly we are open to receive questions at any time from the council throughout the process. So you can bring them up during committee meetings, or you can bring them up before a committee meeting if there's more detail that might be needed, and then we can present them at the committee meeting as well, so everybody gets to hear the questions. So whatever questions are addressed through me and our team, we will certainly make sure we answer to the entire council.
I would just like to caution emails to the whole council and having an engagement. If a question was to be, the council were copied in and somebody responded, that could actually form a meeting. So we have to be careful of that. So it's helpful to have a counselor send the town manager a question, and then the town manager can copy us in. But we having a discussion between us is problematic on an email chain. Right, Attorney Dodge?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay. And, I mean, there are also public, we're going to receive emails from the public. We have already, and we will continue to receive them. So again, when the whole council is copied in, that can present a problem. So just think about that when you're responding. Okay. Anything else? Mr. Lyons.
I hope I'm not out of line asking this, but Town Manager Ledwith, you mentioned 3 of your staff are here who helped prepare this. Could they raise their hands just so we know who they are?
Patty Lewis, Lisa Newton, and Erica Sledge.
Thank you, and thank you.
In order, from right to left.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you, Mr.
Phillips is
Lyon.
in the back, and Helen Rubino Turco is up here in the front.
Yep, and superintendent is also
And the
mentioned to be here.
superintendent, who I mentioned earlier.
Thank you all for being
you.
here, and especially the financial staff for the hard work you do all year, but especially at this time of year. It's a lot. All right, now we are on to, the vote. So we have a motion, a second. We've had a discussion. Any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have a town manager's report. I'm not sure how much you have because we've gone through a lot.
I do not have a town manager's report for you this evening, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Dodge, Corporation Council's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have no formal report, and we do not require an executive session this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Dodge. And then we go to announcements. I will be quick. There are hundreds of people who helped the West Hartford Fire Department with shoveling snow from a hydrant, an accessible path following the blizzard on February 22nd, 23rd. West Hartford has over 1,300 hydrants, which can take firefighters weeks to clear. It took 1 day, which was a great option. Yeah, it was really great. So over 80 photos and 138 thoughtful, encouraging comments were submitted on the Facebook page, and we're happy to announce the winners of the Shovel Out of Hydrant contest. 4 winners were randomly selected to win a choice of $50 gift card or a fire truck ride. They are Nicole Haskell, Emily Hogeland, Cami De La Vega, Candice Cardulis. So a special shout out to Samantha winning Winningham's son Leo for going above and beyond by clearing snow away from 3 hydrants. A free truck ride and a gift card will be rewarded. So, and thanks to the generosity of Dante Castulo from Zephyr's Pizza, 10 people were selected to win a $20 gift card to the restaurant. He's amazing and makes great pizza. Community conversations on the fiscal year 2027 budget. We just went over that, so hopefully you have all that information. Photos sought for Aging Well banners will be, the theme is Aging and Growing Well in West Hartford. What brings you joy? What supports your health? What makes you feel alive as you age? Show us your story through a photo. Selected images will be displayed on light poles along South Main Street for the community to enjoy. And there is a link on our website. Playhouse on Park is playing the Pulitzer Prize winning Katori Hall's Mountaintop, and it is playing through March 22nd. A sustainable snow removal was rescheduled due to snow a couple of times, but will take place on March 12th at 7 p.m. I know, it's just too funny. America 250 March events include the Noah Webster House and Historical Society, discussion of Noah Webster's role as a partisan Federalist on Thursday, March 12th, 6:30, and then film discussion on Fannie Lou Hammer's America, March 18th at 6 to 8 p.m. Women in Small Business, March 19th, there will be a breakfast starting at 9 a.m. in the Town Hall Auditorium. Art Beat 2026 is this annual student art festival, which will take place at the Art League, March 18th through April 4th, showcasing our students' artwork. Will be in the Saltbox and Clubhouse galleries. And climate change, where we are and what we can do, will be, this is a talk featuring Charles E. Button, Professor of Geography and Sustainability at CCSU, who will discuss the current scientific understanding of climate change and other practical actions people can take, and this will be at 6:30 at Town Hall. Are there any other announcements? Ms. Pullen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a plug for additional performing arts opportunities. Both Conard and Hall have performances this weekend. Conard is in its second weekend of Anything Goes, and Hall has its annual Pops and Jazz this weekend and next weekend. And I highly recommend everybody attend both of those, because they really do showcase our students, and not just from the high school level, but it takes starting our education, our music education and love of performance at the lower levels, and we end up seeing some of those kids as well during Pops and Jazz, so recommend it.
That's exactly right. My dad went to every Pops and Jazz for 50 years or something like that. It was crazy. All right, any other announcements? Not yet. Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Mr. Lyons.
Out of respect to a gentleman who used to sit in the seat, Alberto Cortez, who was a wonderful counselor for several terms, he always tried to talk about and encourage people to donate for those with food insecurity. And A Town That Cares is a fantastic way to do it. They collect food downstairs. And, there was a big push in the late fall through the winter with A, seasonal, but B, because of some concerns about federal funding, which I think people are kind of forgetting now that those issues are behind us. So we've got to keep them in our hearts and our minds. And I know we're going to try to work together to do more food drives, and I encourage people to donate to The Town That Cares. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. School break, April vacation, and summer are really big times of need, because families don't have school food during those times. So, all right. Any other announcements? Okay. All right. Then we are without objection. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Any objection? We are now adjourned. Thank you all very much.